continues after human remains were discovered in downtown Jamestown. And with the first snowfall today, local leaders are taking steps to keep the rising homeless population warm this winter. Plus, the BPU's Eco Energy Conference kicks off in Jamestown. We hear from one of the presenters next.
Live and on demand, this is WNY News Now.
Thank you for joining us for WNY News Now. I'm Bronson Rasmussen in for Justin Gould. Those stories and more are coming up, but first, green energy has been a hot topic in our region lately, and this week clean energy is up for discussion in Jamestown as part of a conference hosted by the Jamestown's Board of Public Utilities. Alyssa Wright spent the morning attending the event and joins us live in the studio with more on one of the presenters. Alyssa, how'd it go out there?
Bronson, I think it went really well. Warren, Pennsylvania native Clint Wilder has a passion for clean energy, and for the last 2 decades, he's worked to inform others about the benefits of going green.
We're here to talk about how the world and the local area are in the process of a transition to clean energy and what's being
At the Eco Conference, Wilder is very concerned about the condition of the Earth.
Climate change is already here, as we know, from reading the paper every day. And so we need to do everything we can to kind of stave off the worst effects of it and reduce carbon dioxide. But as I say, it's much more than that. It's also the transition that we're making to what we like to call the clean energy economy.
He says there are several ways someone can become eco-aware.
Watch your energy consumption. Turn your air conditioning down at night in the summer. Use LED light bulbs instead of fluorescent, and good gas mileage cars. Hopefully, if you can do it, an electric car.
Not everyone is keen on the idea of going green, but Wilder believes that the first step is breaking the stigma surrounding climate tech.
There's been resistance to this, resistance to change. There's a lot of current vested interest in oil and gas, but I think that's changing.
The best thing anyone can do, Wilder said, is educate themselves on clean energy.
Look up electric cars or solar power on the net, and but you know there's also misinformation about the kind of why you shouldn't do it. But I would look for the reasons why you should.
This event is aiming to better educate and entice local manufacturers, entrepreneurs, and investors to bring eco-friendly technology to their business. The conference runs Monday through Wednesday this week. Reporting live in studio, Alyssa Wright, WNY News Now.
All right, Alyssa, thank you very much. A partially decomposed body was discovered in downtown Jamestown. The human remains were found by a passerby and reported to Jamestown police around noon Monday. Next to Foss Electric on 1st Street, detectives were examining an area of heavy brush between 2 industrial buildings in the area. Investigators are attempting to confirm the identification of the body with family members. Preliminarily, the remains are believed to be that of a white male. A Georgia woman has been found guilty of causing a fatal wrong-way crash on Interstate I-86 in Chautauqua County last year. The Chautauqua County District Attorney, Jason Schmidt, announced that 33-year-old Heather Capel was convicted by a jury of vehicular manslaughter, criminally negligent homicide, and driving while ability impaired by drugs. 51-year-old Bradley Wakefield of Cattaraugus died as a result of the July 2021 crash. The jury came to this verdict on Monday after a 2-week-long trial. Sentencing is scheduled for December 19, 2022, before Judge David Foley. Capel is facing a maximum sentence of 7 years in state prison. Those with Jamestown City Council are proposing funding and purchasing a Bearcat SWAT vehicle. In a presentation by Police Chief Tim Jackson, alongside many SWAT members, Jamestown's finest exhibited their sheer firepower that the team goes up against in every call. The police chief showed off what exactly was collected in a SWAT raid last week. which could have caused intense harm to the current vehicle and officers inside.
What would that weapon do to the vehicle that you're presently using now if you had a full team, TAC team in the vehicle?
It would penetrate the vehicle.
So the only thing that might save those officers' lives are their body armor.
Yes.
Is that correct?
That's correct.
I could also say too, the handguns itself will probably go through the the aluminum siding of the van that we currently ride in as well.
The vehicle will cost the city roughly $250,000 in American Rescue Plan Act funds to acquire. Once the order is placed, it would take around a year for the vehicle to arrive here in Jamestown. Western New York has seen its first snowfall of the season this week, and lawmakers in Jamestown are trying to figure out what to do with the homeless population locally. Officers are working with homeless shelters, resource providers, local churches, and medical professionals to provide emergency shelter for those who have nowhere to go this winter. Echoing the fears of the city council last week, a factory fire occurred at the old Crawford Furniture Atlas Division factory, which initially investigators believe was started by someone who's not supposed to be occupying the building. Like the homeless, Mayor Sundquist and his team have identified 2 structures within the city that could be used as an emergency shelter for the homeless population.
So it would be a nighttime, usually from around 4 p.m. to 9 a.m. Those sites would then also provide security at the locations, food. We would have other churches and other groups could provide resources there.
While the emergency shelter is still in planning, the city has received $194,000 from HUD to address the homelessness issue. And speaking of snow, we're seeing our first dose of that here today, right? Isn't that right, Dakota? I did not like to see it when I woke up.
Somewhat of our first snowfall of the season across the area. It was only a little bit, but we were telling you about this, how it was going to be a little bit of snow. Sean Sweatman was able to capture this out on his yard, a little bit of that grassy accumulation. And this is in the town of Charlotte, which is actually just a little bit north of Gary. And you can see from Sue here, looking like a winter wonderland. With the snow out there, and Stacy sending this in from Randolph. You can see the snow accumulation there in her yard as well. So this has been the first snowfall of the season for some across the southern tier, and you can see on the First Defense Doppler radar and satellite, even though it's mainly being depicted as rain here, we have seen, again, you see on the last couple of frames there, some of that blue peeking in there. That is that snow that is starting to change over with some of those colder temperatures. So again, we are going to continue to see these rain and snow showers the afternoon hours today. 48 was the high yesterday. Started the day at 32, 82, and 20 are the records. So through the afternoon, overcast, scattered lake effect, mixed rain and snow showers, mainly all wet snow across the hillier terrain, cold and brisk, 37 on the hills. That's it, to 48 across the lower elevation. Still breezy with wind gusts around 30 miles an hour, but a warming trend might be on the way for the weekend. We'll talk about it with the Ultimate Satellite Solutions 7-Day later in the show. Bronson.
All right, Dakota, we'll see you then. WNY News Now continues with election coverage as we break down polling data in New York's gubernatorial race. And later, a look at the crackdown on catalytic converter thefts. Stay with us as WNY News Now will be right back.
With coverage that matters. This is WNY News Now.
Looking for a fair and honest auto mechanic? Look no further than DeWias Auto Service. Located at 140 Main Street in Randolph, our family-owned business is ready for all of your automotive needs. From general service to more complex repairs, count on DeWias Auto to keep you on the road. We not only keep your cars running smoothly, but also looking great with our expert detailing crew. Send us a message on Facebook or call us today at 716-358-2292 to set up an appointment. DeWias Auto Service. Fair, honest, and the best prices guaranteed.
I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor.
Testicular cancer is the leading form of cancer in men aged 15 to 35.
1 in 250 men will be diagnosed with testicular cancer.
But 98% will survive if detected early.
As a survivor, I believe early detection is the key. Learn how to do a testicular self-exam and other important facts about testicular cancer at oneball4tc.com.
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvan Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer, plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
New polling data is narrowing the gap between Governor Kathy Hochul and Republican challenger Rep. Lee Zeldin in New York's gubernatorial election. Released by Siena College, data shows Hochul leads Zeldin by 11 points. However, that figure is down from 17 last month. While campaigning, Zeldin has further solidified his Republican support, 81 to 12%. That's up from 77 to 17%. Polling data went on to show Hochul has a 45 to 41% favorability rating and a 52 to 45% job approval rating, both of which are down a bit from last month. The New York State Department of Health today released its county opioid quarterly report for October of 2022. The report shows a 14% increase in 2021 overdose deaths involving opioids over the prior year. Naloxone is a life-saving medication that can be used to block the effects of opioids, allowing a person to regain consciousness and resume normal breathing. New legislation aims to combat catalytic converter thefts in New York State. Our Capitol correspondent breaks down what this bill will look like and how it will help New Yorkers.
State leaders are taking steps to quote-unquote crack down on car theft as the number of catalytic converter thefts rises. Governor Kathy Hochul today signed legislation that imposes restrictions on the purchase, sale, and possession of catalytic converters by vehicle dismantlers and scrap processors.
This is a serious problem. No one should have to worry about this. This is an enormous cost for families. They don't need the stress. They don't need the worry. You shouldn't have to go to bed at night wondering if someone's stealing this valuable commodity out of your own driveway.
According to the National Insurance Crime Bureau, the number of catalytic converter thefts increased from roughly 1,300 in 2018 to more than 52,000 in 2021. A catalytic converter is essentially a piece of a car's exhaust system that helps reduce harmful emissions. Catalytic converters contain highly valuable metals like palladium, rhodium, and platinum. Some of these metals are valued at up to $20,000 per ounce. For victims of catalytic converter theft, it can cost a dealer thousands of dollars to replace.
We want the criminals to know the gig's up. We're coming after you. We have the resources, the technology, and the will to stop these crimes from happening.
In addition to imposing restrictions on the purchase, sale, and possession of catalytic converters by dismantlers, the bill will also require vehicle dealers to stock catalytic converter etching kits to be offered at no cost to the consumer. An etching kit labels your converter and is linked to the car's DMV registration. This essentially helps track the stolen auto part. There are also insurance plans and alarm systems for catalytic converters. The bill will take 180 days to go into effect. In Albany, Elise Klein, WNY News Now.
A new lawsuit over whether undated mail ballots should be counted in Pennsylvania has been filed in Pennsylvania's Supreme Court. The suit was filed Sunday, in which Republicans argue that undated mail ballots should not be counted as stated under Pennsylvania's election law. Just last week, the U.S. Supreme Court sided with Republicans and voted a lower federal court ruling which allowed undated ballots to count in the Commonwealth. Coming up, concerning news for Americans with diabetes. And later, we look at the efforts to improve safety for youth football players amid concussion concerns with the NFL. But first, we return with a look at our full weather forecast when WNY News Now returns.
Slow down. Slow down and move over. Move over.
When you see signs,
Lights. Vests.
please give us some room.
Slow down. Slow down and move over. When you need help,
It's our job
to help you.
to save you.
Despite the danger. This danger is real. Do your part.
Please
Slow down. Slow down. And move over.
move over.
Walking from Jamestown to Orchard Park is a long trek, but when rallying for a good cause, anything is possible. I'm Patrick Smeraldo, and I need your help to get there. Starting on November 11th, I'm walking over 60 miles to the Buffalo Bills Stadium, raising money for Harrison's Playmakers and foster care in Chautauqua County. Harrison's Playmakers is a non-profit launched by former Buffalo Bills defensive tackle Harrison Phillips to connect kids with disabilities in sports. Furthermore, donations for this 3-day hike will also benefit CASA of Chautauqua County and the Stone family, who are assisting local foster care children during National Adoption Month. Learn more about my journey and to donate at ccsolutions716.com.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
He makes fun of his friend who vapes.
He would never try it.
She's into soccer.
She's on the honor roll.
She's just not the type.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way, my kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping. Maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
Slow down. Slow down and move over. Move over.
When you see signs,
Lights.
Vests.
please give us some room.
Slow down. Slow down and move over. When you need help,
It's our job
to help you.
to save you.
Despite the danger. This danger is real. Do your part.
Please
Slow down. Slow down. And move over.
move over.
With coverage that matters. This is WNY News Now.
Fast, accurate, and everyday. First Defense Weather.
Welcome back, everybody. Wanted to give you a live look at the Chautauqua Lake Association Skycam because you can still see some of that fall foliage, but of course those overcast skies and of course some of those lake effect rain showers at times. So as we mentioned during first weather, it is official snowfall of the season. The Jamestown Airport gauged a trace worth of snowfall, which basically means it was barely measurable, but hey, any measurable snow counts. So that's the official first snowfall here in town. A trace worth of snow, and that's pretty much what most everybody got. So I wanted to explain the types of precipitation for you and kind of how it forms. So obviously all rain is when we have cold air up at the top and then warm air down at the bottom. Freezing rain is when that warm air is mixed kind of right in the middle. Sleet is where it changes from snow to rain and then back to a wintry mix. And then the all snow is obviously where it's all cold up throughout the entire column. So that's how the different precip types work. It's cold out there. 38 is the current temperature right now here in town. 32 in Warren, 40 in Randolph, only 29 in Corey. But the wind speeds are also starting to come up as well. The wind speeds not too bad, nowhere near as gusty as they were yesterday. 12 miles per hour current wind gust in Jamestown, 10 in Warren. But when you factor in the wind chill, this is what it feels like when you combine the air temperature and the wind speed together. Most everybody in the 20s here. How about Corey? 17 degrees is what it feels like when you factor in that wind. So again, trash can window meter, if you've already taken your trash can out for tonight, yeah, you might find it next door, maybe tipped over next door, obviously with some of those stronger wind gusts. All right, here's First Defense Doppler, the latest sweep, showing you pretty much those lake effect rain showers continuing across the southern tier. We are noticing again a few of that blue mixing in that is starting to indicate where we're starting to see that changeover over to snow. And there's our pressure area, the flow around the low across the upper Great Lakes, and a cold front shoving through. So that cold front helping to bring in that cooler air along with changing some of those lake effect rain showers over to some snow showers. So here's the newest run of future scan showing you those lake rain and snow showers continuing in spots through the afternoon hours. Now, once you rise up in the highest hills, that likely will be all wet snow. So that will likely be where the additional accumulation will lie through the next 24 hours or so. We'll catch again a few more lake effect rain and snow showers through the overnight. I think we may change over to a period of all wet snow across much of the region as temperatures hover around freezing or just below freezing. Then tomorrow, again, pretty much the same story. Scattered lake effect rain and snow showers through the day. Any accumulation will be light out of that. We'll finally start to back it off a little bit by the time we go into Thursday with only a few light rain and snow showers in the morning on Thursday. So additional snow totals, insignificant. Again, we could see upwards of about another ½ inch in spots, but that ½ inch is mainly going to be confined again on the higher hills, as often where you get the most amount of snow, that's likely where you're going to see the most accumulation. Now the future, powered by Ultimate Satellite Solutions. So we're living life in the 40s all the way through Thursday. Then a warming trend starts as we go through the weekend and we dry out with a good supply of sunshine. We're going to be close to 70, Bronson, Sunday and Monday of next week. It's weather whiplash.
It really is. I don't know if I want to start putting up my Christmas decorations or keep my Halloween ones up. It's getting iffy
do
out there.
Both.
All right.
Those and a Santa Claus right next to each other. That works.
Some headlines from around the nation. Some diabetics are not as protected as they should be from the disease. According to a study published Monday in the Annals of Internal Medicine journal, 1.3 million people with diabetes rationed the amount of insulin they took in 2021. The findings are based on nearly 1,000 diabetics who use insulin. Researchers say people who said they skipped doses or took smaller doses were considered to be rationing. StudentAid.gov is now taking debt relief applications from people with federal student loans. To qualify, borrowers must meet certain requirements, but could that extra spending power increase inflation? Some Democrats say no, but the nonpartisan Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget says yes. It estimates the president's student debt policies altogether could boost inflation between a 6.25 point over the next year. Our crew has been traveling around Southwest Florida this past week, and they've noticed a lot of debris, furniture, and other items damaged by Hurricane Ian, still sitting outside of homes and businesses. Rachel Knapp reports.
Everything was lost. All personal possessions, furniture, 6 vehicles, all gone.
Brian McDonald lives in the Iona neighborhood of Fort Myers. It's about a mile or so away from the beach. But even with this distance, his home was flooded by 6 feet of water. He's getting help from Alex O'Connor to put whatever was damaged from the storm out on the street. It's a common sight to see in the Fort Myers area. And while they aren't keeping these items, they are sometimes frustrated by the so-called trash pickers, or people going around town combing through whatever is left out.
One man's trash is another man's treasure for some, so I guess less fortunate, whatever, but clean up after yourself when you're done, you know. Put it back where you found it, you know. Take what you want, but leave everything else where it's supposed to be.
But neighbors are waiting for county and FEMA relief workers to pick this stuff up.
It might seem like it's taking forever, but I would say within a month, maybe 2, everything's gone. They do a bang-up job cleaning up. You'll see I've got piles of debris because the storm surge took virtually everything from us. And it looks like a war zone.
Locals say there's a clear difference between taking what's on the curb and looting.
I put on the refrigerator before it was taken away. Be kind or leave.
Others tell us off camera they're worried businesses that are not operating due to the storm, as well as people's now vacant homes, can be an open invitation for break-ins. We've come across signs like this in the area which read, "No trespassing looters," and "No trespassing, looters will get shot." According to recent reports, as many as 30 people so far in the Fort Myers area have been arrested and accused of looting. And while O'Connor says looting isn't an issue in their neighborhood, he says to take these warnings seriously.
You know, you loot, you get shot. I mean, that's it, you know. That's just the way it is. You got to be going to the lowest of the low to take from somebody who's already lost everything.
In Fort Myers Beach, Florida, Rachel Knapp reporting.
Next, a look at efforts to reduce head injuries in youth football.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first. WNY News Now is covering stories that matter to you.
Police and other local law enforcement agencies are looking for the person responsible for a shooting.
One of the benefits of this new feature is it not only works with the newer parking meters that the city's been rolling out, but these traditional meters as well.
From muddy trails to slick cliff edges to structures that have fallen into disrepair, these are just some of the problems that this park faces.
WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
I know what you're thinking. I need a job. I need a new career.
Well, I've been there.
I've been there.
I've been there. I wasn't happy with what I was doing.
After high school, I didn't have a plan.
I just wanted to start working. I got laid off twice, but you gotta keep going.
You just need the right skills. Find an apprenticeship.
I found a 2-year IT program.
I found a medical course online.
I'm now a consultant in the tech space.
You have more options than you think. You can do this.
You will find something.
You will find something new.
Walking from Jamestown to Orchard Park is a long trek, but when rallying for a good cause, anything is possible. Starting on November 11th, I'm walking over 60 miles to the Buffalo Bills Stadium, raising money for two great causes, Harrison's Playmakers and foster care in Chautauqua County. Learn more about my journey and to donate at ccsolutions716.com.
Catch your First Defense forecast daily on WNY News Now.
The NFL has updated its concussion protocol after several recent head injuries. Now, the safety spotlight is shining on high school football teams and how student athletes can be better protected on the field. Mandy Gather has more.
It's the most popular sport with high school boys. Nearly 1.5 million play football, but concerns continue to grow over head injuries.
A lot of head impacts are occurring during practice, not just the games.
That's why a new study published in the medical journal Pediatrics suggests changing the way high schoolers practice may help. The researchers from Indiana University studied 3 Midwest teams in the 2021 season using mouth sensors to gauge the impact different plays and drills have on an athlete's head.
Numbers kind of astounded me. So 74 players a season, they looked at 7,300 head impacts. So it's close to 100 impacts per player on average.
In just under 86-hour study, there were 310 head impacts with air drills or drills without contact, compared to more than 3,300 head impacts in 115 hours of thud drills, where players train at high speeds and restrict contact to above the waist.
That's a lot of head impacts on these high school football players. And it's not just concussions, it is these subconcussive or just head impacts of any sort. They accumulate over time.
Because of that cumulative effect, researchers say minimizing head impacts during drills and practice may help reduce head injuries overall.
We know more than ever that some of these chronic changes, some of these most concerning changes in the brain can start early.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Well, that's it for us today. Remember that news continues 24/7 at WNYNewsNow.com and on our mobile app. Download it for today, free. in the Apple App Store and Google Play Store. And we'll leave you with this live look from outside our studio, and if I'm right, Dakota, I don't see any snow out there. I'd kind of like to see that. We'll catch you next time.